in this video, I'm going to show you how to do the figure 8 stitch on the Gallery London S-Loom. Now this isn't the figure 8 stitch where you're going from one side to the next. This is just in a flat panel. You can also do it on round looms if you got round looms. But for this you can do any cast on you want. I'm just going to do a slip knot, and I'm going to do just a quick E-wrap cast on, which I've showed you that in a previous video. And I'm just going to make a small swatch big enough so that you can see how this stitch looks and show you how to do it. Alright, that'll be enough. Okay. So I just E-wrapped, you know, however wide I wanted it. The figure 8 stitch, you are doing a figure 8. See, I just did a figure 8. And then you take your bottom loops over your top loops. You figure 8 2 pegs. Now, you only move down one peg each time. So we already wrapped this peg, but we're going to wrap it again. And you only do 2 at a time. You can't wrap a whole row because of that. So we already wrapped that one. And if you get confused, you look where your yarn is coming from. The yarn is coming from in between these two. So that means I skip this one and go over one, wrap behind, which I'll go down to the end and I'll show you coming back up as well. And this is a neat stitch. It has almost a crocheted appearance to it. So it gives you a different texture than your other stitches do. But let's get down to the end of the row. And it also lays flat, so you don't have to worry about blocking it or anything like that. Now if you want to use a heavier yarn, you can. I would suggest anything more than, this is a worsted weight yarn, which is your number 4. I'll show you what yarn I'm using. Just some Red Heart number 4 yarn. If you want to use something thicker, I suggest either removing every other peg, see yarn's coming from in between that one, or you'd wrap like 2 pegs at one time, which I can show you that in a moment. Alright. Now this very last one was our, where we cast on. So I've got that locked in so I can actually take that off the peg now. And pull the string down through the middle. There we go. Your cast on is done. And no matter which way you're going, it's just figure 8s. So you take the two, take your bottoms over the tops. You would skip one. Take the bottoms over the tops. Now if you're using a thicker yarn and you don't want to take every other peg out, you can actually wrap 2 at a time if you're using a thicker yarn, or if you want a more of a lace appearance to it. I'll do a few rows enough so you can see how this texture turns out. Alright, so this is how the figure 8 stitch turns out. Now if you do this in the round, where you just keep doing your E-wraps would all be in the same direction, it actually has a slightly different appearance to it. But both ways, it still has, it's very airy, and it's a very thick textured stitch that has a very, it looks almost crocheted. I don't know of any needle knit stitches that really match that. But there you go. And now cast offs you can use. Of course, if you're doing a hat, I would suggest a pull string cast off. I like this in hats a lot, like little beanies. But you just use the appropriate cast off for whatever method you're using. which I will go ahead and show you how to do the pull string cast off. Okay, now to do the pull string cast off, take your working yarn and wrap it around the project just a couple times, and then you can cut. Alright, now it's such a very, very simple project. We'll say we're doing something in the round, so you'll go all the way around with it. All you do is you take that working yarn and just use your hook and pull it through each loop. Now it doesn't matter if you pull it up through the bottom or down through the top. Just try to do it the same on each peg. Now this isn't a cast off you want to do for something that you are going to leave flat, which it'll be very obvious when I'm done. This is something that you use for stuffed animals, for hats. Oh, I've used it for the bottom part of bags at times. Okay, so once you get to that last peg, you go ahead and you take everything off the loom. This is our little swatch here, and then you just pull it, and you can see it'll pull the whole thing around in a circle, which if you're doing a flat panel hat at that point you would take and seam up the side. But that is how you do. You'd pull it tight. You'd want to pull the string down on the inside, flip it inside out, then pull it tight, and take like a crochet hook or something and just weave it through and tie a knot so that it's up there really tight. Now you do have to be careful. Sometimes with doing a pull string cast off, if you pull it too tight, the string itself will break, and then if this comes undone, it all unravels, and that's just a huge pain. Which, if you like the stitch, is the figure 8 stitch. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you.